Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let me see. Shout out to everybody. I know I was supposed to go live again yesterday, but I couldn't. Shout out to everybody. Hey Kat, hey Rose, hey Tazzy, hey SW. I see everybody. Hey Deborah, how you doing? Bunny's in the house, Chico's in the house, Jimmy, who else? Liz, Cape, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, Bunny. Everybody, welcome. Thank you so much. I did start a little bit early because it I have like a lot of stuff going on my schedule. I am scheduled to go live later on tonight. So we're probably just gonna do two lives tonight, and that is about it because it's busy and it's Sunday. Rose, welcome. Generally, Jenny, Nat, Christy B, Tazzy, everybody. Oh, Vamp Diva, thank you so much. Thank you for saying that. Shout out to you. Happy Sunday to everybody. Coins, how you doing? Sweet Jules, welcome. Why is my timer going off? Let me stop right there. How you doing, everybody? Oh my God, Layla, I am so sorry for your loss. Okay, well, Layla, you guys drop some hearts for Layla. Shout out to Layla, and I'm so sorry for your loss, Layla. If you need anything, reach out. My email's there. My condolences to you and your family. Trust no one. Stormy's in the house. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. All right, we have to talk because so we went live. Was it a day ago? Was it Friday that we talked about Lima? Okay. And I have been confused in so many ways because in my mind, I would like to I'm just like, how is it that it is really difficult to determine if somebody graduated high school or like even the very basics of a person, right? Like what a fingerprint, especially somebody in technology. How is it that we aren't able to determine that? It shouldn't be that hard. I sent BJ my resume, right? So she could tell right away that I graduated high school, what year and whatnot, right? So the very simple fact that like that little piece that we're not necessarily able to determine, like if she graduated high school, is a huge thing for me. It makes me very much concerned about the information that she's put out there, the contact that she has with folks, the misrepresentation of who she is and what she is. Now, as much as I believe that people can be anonymous, people should be able to be private. At one point I was anonymous on YouTube, and then now I'm not, right? And so I agree, right, that certain things need to be if you want to be anonymous. But this is YouTube. But if you're promoting yourself to be um spearheading an innovation in technology, right? Big thing. Give me one sec, guys. Sorry about that. It just, I'm so concerned by how all of that is happening, It's strange considering that yeah, it's strange considering who she's meant to be. Um a lot of it is strange. So I'm a little confused by who she is. And this is why I'm like, well, who is this girl? That was my number one question. Who is she? Where does she come from? How did all this started? A lot of us have a lot of questions. Um, are you? Oh my God. Well, please don't miss your appointment. Shout out to you. Please don't miss your appointment. Okay. You can always watch a replay. Lexi, thank you for becoming a member. I'm going to read some of these comments. Um, I don't know. And then I saw the video that BJ put out about a birthday celebration, and I don't even see the sisters there. Like this whole thing is weird. And I'm why I'm racking my brain is because I'm the most logical, like I want to debunk myself. I will debunk myself. All right? But it shouldn't be that hard if you're a leader in the tech world about mental health and services. Um your credentials should be very easy to find. It should be very easy. I mean, I'm sure we can even find Dr. Phil's online certificate. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dr. Phil. I'm throwing that out there because I have a lot of questions about who Dr. Phil is as well. But It should be very easy to find. It should be a one and done. And then what further concerns me is that if the court is, or anybody, if she's involved in anybody's legal situation, right, and she's giving signatures to this, the blessing with her signature, and there's a step being missed here in so many ways, and it's either a loophole or it's either a cover up. I can't think of it in any way. I just don't know. I don't know. There's got to be transparency, absolutely, in any governmental services, in any court oversight. There has to be transparency, absolutely. It should not be that hard to determine who this girl is, where she came from. Inconsistencies in the way that she speaks. I have seen the No Jumper interview. I have seen the White Underbelly. I have seen the Meet Kevin. I was sent other podcasts as well. Nothing is making sense, and that, my friends, is a huge red flag in the mental health field, and it should be in medical field, mental health field, all of that. This right here, shout out to BJ. I had to play this because I was like, wait a minute, like I'm trying to paint the picture of who this girl is. We're going to look at No Jumper here in a minute because even that had its red flags. But what BJ was able to find here really scared me, and it should scare a lot of folks. Let me play a little bit.
In the state of Florida. I will pull that up just to refresh your memory on this application for appointment as guardian that Lima did fill out and sign. She said that she was born in July 1989, July 20th, 1989. She spells her name without a U, so it's Taqali. And again, she signed this document. So I think it's reasonable to assume that she filled it out. She also filed this document with a court, and as you can see, it was filed under penalty of perjury on August 8th, 2021. Now, interestingly, the prompt on the form does say to put the place of birth,
Yes.
like where you were born, and Lima does not do that. Now, another thing we discussed yesterday is that Lima gave on this application a little bit of personal information. Now, again, none of this is private because this is a...
And that is exactly what I'm looking at as well, right? She's given, this is all public information, public records, whatever. You could pull these, you can, whatever you need to do. Lima should have an NPI number, which requires school information. Thank you for pointing that out, MJ. Thank you so much. Shout out to MJ. So this is making me concerned too. Let me tell you something. It should not be that difficult to find out if somebody graduated high school or not. General education at the very basic. Your GED, okay, even that might take a little bit more researching, but if you graduated high school, which you would need to, or a general education certificate or something in order to step over to the next part of the education journey, right? None of this is making sense. The inability, and for her to be in tech, okay, all over. Why is it so hard to even? I'm sure that if I were to Google search Steve Jobs, right, and what his history was, it would be very easy to do that. Bill Gates, it would be I could probably find out what high school he went to, and it would be matter of public record. Why is it so hard to find the very basics of this girl? And we're giving her permission to, people are okaying her being able to supervise, dictate someone's treatment. Are you doing data services? Are you data collecting? Or are you actually having some type of diagnostic tool to be able to diagnose folks based on what she self-reported to have been her past? That's concerning. That is very concerning. We got to keep talking about this, guys. We have to keep talking about this.
Public court filing that I was able to procure as a member of the public. Anybody can get this document who has an internet connection. So she says on this form that she signed under penalty of perjury that I got as a public record that she graduated from Union High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She received a diploma in June 2008. She also said that she graduated from University misspelled, of Guelph is how y'all told me how to say that. So she said she graduated from University of Guelph in Ontario in May 2013. All right. So remember that. She said on this court filing, signed with her signature under penalty of perjury,
Oh man.
that she graduated in June 2008 from an American high school called Union High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and she graduated from University of Guelph on May 2013. Well, y'all went out and did your own research yesterday and you found some things that would maybe contradict these statements that were made under penalty of perjury in writing and submitted to a court. So that's like half of it. The other half of it
My
has to do
goodness.
with Dahlia and Dia, aka Dima, who also apparently attended Union High School. Now, again, Lima said she graduated in 2008. The twins allegedly graduated in 2009. Now, I happen to know through prior research that the twins were at a graduation ceremony in 2009, but it was for a different high school. It was for a school in Canada. And there are pictures of the twins graduating, and Lima is there in 2009 at Bishop McDonald Catholic High School in Canada. Well, some of y'all went around and actually looked up and were able to find the Union High School yearbook. It does show Dia and Dahlia in the yearbook. And not only were they there in the class pictures, but they also were pictured as being on the cross country team and on
All kinds of fingerprints of the twins at the high school, right? We have all kinds. And Sarah, that was my question. Sarah's question is, do the twins and Lima have the same mother and father? Where are they? My question was, do we know if they have the same parent? I mean, it sounds like she's older than the twins. So the likelihood of that, I mean, that maybe that's an issue. Maybe they have a different parent. And so I just have questions. None of this piece is making sense. It should not be that difficult to locate somebody in terms of their high school. The twins have more of a fingerprint than she does, and she's leading in technology. None of it is making sense whatsoever. That's my question. Was Lima, shout out to Bitch Talk, was Lima brought up in the same household? Is it possible that they have a different parent? That's kind of where I go. Maybe possibility. Maybe they're like, you know, stepsisters. I don't know. Broken Arrow High School is close by Union High, and Lima's name is on their class of 2002. Really? Do you mind sending that to me? Because I didn't hear anything about that. Interesting. Did probably BJ already address it? 'Cause she's already on top of this. I am curious. Is that the case? This is my email for those that are wondering. I don't know. I'm just so this whole situation. Ooh, that's an interesting point that you're making. Lima never thought she'd be investigated like this. I appreciate everyone in putting work and making sure that she cannot. Yeah, she can. If this is what she's doing, people need to. These profiles need to be public if somebody's providing services. This is not okay to do. Okay, there shouldn't be a mystery, right? Nobody should be a mystery to anybody if you're using technology in mental health services, and then using that same technology, using the internet to promote, and then using people's lives this way. And I'm starting to feel like either the court is not necessarily paying attention to this and they don't give a shit, which is, okay, I get it. They're overlooking it, or there's major cover-ups and connections. Listen, I'm Mexican, all right? I know how corruptions go. I get it. I get it. Let me hit play on this.
On the twins page and stuff like that. So now I want to get into some of the stuff that y'all did find. I do think it is fascinating and very helpful. Yesterday, we went on to the Union Senior High School class of 2008 alumni page. And if you remember, there were only 3 people listed. It was Jordan, Cherie, and Andrew. Well, y'all, within about, I would say, 30 minutes of me uploading that video and premiering that video, I have an update to provide on the Union High School senior class of 2008 alumni list. So here we are again, back on the Union High School alumni page. Same guy here, Jordan Mans. And somebody done added Lima Takali onto this list, but we don't only have to go by that list. Also, I think anybody can just add anybody onto this list. That doesn't necessarily mean Lima went there for that. But let's look at that yearbook from
Interesting.
2008 and see if we can find Miss Lima. So this is the Union Public Schools yearbooks page, and the yearbooks are all available here. And 2008 has 3 parts to it. So here's the section of the yearbook that has juniors. We are just going to scroll. I'm going to scroll down to the section that has the T's. This is a huge school. My graduating class had like 75 people in it. This is like so many people. Okay, so here we finally are. This is the class of 2009, but this is from the 2008 yearbook. And as you can see, we have Dahlia, no H, Takali with a U spelled here, and Dima Takali. Okay, so not Dia, Dima. All right, so here's Dahlia and Dima Takali listed as juniors in the 2008 yearbook. Now, not to beat a dead horse, but just to remind y'all, Lima signed a paper and presented it to a court, filed it with a court under penalty of perjury, saying that she graduated from Union High School in 2008. That is this year that we are looking at right here. Now, Dima and Dahlia managed to show up for picture day. Let's see if Miss Lima appears anywhere in this yearbook. Spoiler alert, she does not, unless she had a total face transplant and completely changed her name to something that
It
she never
shouldn't
said
be
that her
this
name was.
difficult. It should not be this difficult to find. She's not there. Let me stop right here. And BJ's video is in the description box. Check it out. Because I was like, wait a minute. If I'm trying to understand who this girl is, where she came from, what motivated her, what happened. This interview right here with No Jumper, and let me tell you, I am not familiar. I know he's a very controversial type of person. That he does kind of shit for things like this. He's known for stuff for controversy. Um, I could at the very least love the fact that he put timestamps in this interview, because the amount of how long it takes for this girl to make the point that she actually is trying to make, it is difficult for me to understand, or even comprehend. Like, I'm just like, can you just get to the point? There were so many red flags in this interview, so many that further pushes the point to say that she has no boundaries, right? That she finds, there's an interview where she talks about Amanda Rabb, where she says, when after Amanda had died, that Amanda was like a friend to her, right? We know in the mental health world, like if you're assisting with treatment, that is the very least thing you could say about a person that is your client, your clientele. You should not be viewing them as your friend. There needs to be a boundary there. She doesn't seem to quite understand that. This specific, I wasn't sure. There were so many red flags, right? There's a point in this interview, and I think it's at the 13-minute mark, where she talks about her trying to work with investors. And I swear, and I thought I heard, I'm gonna play it, but I thought I heard something in my mind about how one of the investors tried to get kind of like um, risky with her. Like there was a situation with her and the investors. It was in the 13-minute and 7-second mark. Let me show you guys.
Just led nowhere. I ended up taking a meeting in Hollywood with this guy in his office, and I just remember he had made me like a video, and it was like people helping people help people. And I thought it was the stupidest video. And he's like, I'm going to invest in this. It's going to be so great. And this and that. And his office was at the very top floor of this
Listen
building.
to this.
And it was all glass. And so all of his employees were leaving. And then, and this was like around 5 o'clock. And then it got later into 6, 7. And I remember just like him working with me and then standing up and like whipping it out in my face. Like, I'm going to fund your business.
Wow.
So, pay up. And that was like the last investor meeting I took.
I know that none of you guys.
So this is the crazy part, right? This is the crazy part. Lima's talking about a situation where she's meeting with an investor. He whips it out. And what does Mr. Adam22 do? He talks about make sure you get your VPN if you're going to watch porn at work. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding. I sat there and said, oh, Lord, if this interview wasn't the attempt to normalize or make her look a little bit like, oh, you know, she's a really cool girl, guys. It didn't work. It didn't work. Do y'all see that? Right at the I will give you this. At least no jump. It is a no jumper, excuse me, podcast. Put the timestamps there. So I didn't have to listen to I listened to it 3 times. Now I can only review little parts of it. He whipped it out while she's trying to talk about, invest in my virtual mental health services project. And she still kept contact with him, right? There was no police report. There was nothing that I didn't hear her say anything about. I filed a police report. This guy violated me. This impacted me mental health wise. This made me feel like I can't trust investors. She took a break after a year, it sounds like, and then she went about making sure that she contacted him again so that he knew about her seriousness in this project. Lord, I said, what? No. I was like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Anybody? This was so concerning. This right here it just did it for me. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Let me go to the next timestamp. She raised the money. An investor did what to her during the meeting, deciding to build an app to help people, explains how virtual reality and exposure therapy can help people.
Passion, but
so I'm like a fentanyl addict, and I can just do fentanyl in virtual reality, and that'll kind of like soothe the desire to do fentanyl.
No.
Right. That sounds kind of counterintuitive, right? Like, so what is the idea though?
Okay.
It did.
So that's exposure therapy. What we do is, number one, I don't treat anybody. That's another thing that I'm canceled for. I don't do therapy on anyone. I build the tools, and then the therapist, clinical psychiatrist.
You know what's so interesting is, so she's saying, I built the tools and the clinical psychologist used them. So like I said, I was trying to go through how she views her project, her baby. Okay. I did go to the change.org petition that she put out there. All right. Because somebody emailed me and said, Rabbit, try to report both sides of this. Try to give this girl the benefit of the doubt, even though she looks like shit all over the online. I get it, right? But at least try to give her the benefit of the doubt, right? So, and I would, right? So I went to her petition because, in all fairness, she said people are going off of what these videos are saying, but they're not really doing the research. They haven't looked at my petition. I looked at her petition. And her petition is completely different than what she's trying to promote, what her services are. She is thinking, or at least trying to portray, that she is being canceled based on solely on, what happened in this one situation. That's not the case. That is not the case. There's a difference between we are concerned with how you're maneuvering, how the services you're providing and you're betting and you're, selling are the impact to the community and others as a whole, right? That's one. Nobody's taking her right from trying to do right in the world if she feels like she's doing right in the world. No, but we're very well informed over here, right? And we have questions. And she has a track record. And the simple fact that you're failing, and I saw some of the pitches that she was doing to these investors, the simple fact that you're failing to report the fact that you are suing people, that you didn't have a success story, you have yet to really, it's very concerning. I mean, and I said, I'm going to try to use her words. Her words are in a change.org petition. You can read it. It's very long. Nothing to cite the data, by the way. Nothing cites. It doesn't say this is where I got this data from. 90% is this, 80% is this. It is very rehearsed based on what she's saying. Okay. And that should be a red flag. It is. And people are investing and giving money to her without asking the proper questions, which then makes me wonder, well, then who the hell is she connected to? Right? Because people don't just, I mean, do people just give out money like that just because, you're connected to Mark Leda? How did she get this interview? Wasn't it through Mark Leda? And that's how I understood this. Why this interview? This interview made her even look worse. Worse. It wasn't cute. It was not cute. And even her talking about how she's trying to, promote her baby and get investors. And you got this investor that's whipping it out, and then you still stay in contact with the investor. No police report, no nothing. Nothing was reported. Because if he did that to you, imagine how many other people he did it to. Just saying.
Just use them with patience. And so a lot of our tools are mindfulness based, so you don't necessarily need a therapist there with you.
Right.
Which is like guided meditations, guided coping strategies. But then when it comes to exposure therapy, what you're talking about, you need a therapist in the room. And so the way that would be is you wouldn't just be thrown into, a virtual crack house or anything like that. And then you've got fentanyl in front of you. What we do is the therapist does the work with you initially. And then at a point when you're ready, they'll start to do mindfulness practice. Like they'll put you on a beach. And then so you wear a belt around your right under your chest. It measures your heart rate. And we also do the voice analysis. And so while you're engaging with a therapist in this environment, he or she will ask you, Adam, is it okay? So they'll see that you're doing well while you're talking about this issue, or you're doing poorly while you're talking about this issue. And so if you're not doing well, they're going to keep you in an environment that's calming. If you are doing well and you're talking about, these things, then they'll say, Adam, is it okay if I put you in, like an environment that, like, for example, at home by yourself. So we'll put you at home by yourself, like in a living room environment. There's no one else there. The therapist will go quiet. They'll measure how you're feeling, ask you to describe how you're feeling. And a lot of times people will be like, I feel fine, like everything's good. But you can see on your wrist, and the therapist can see on the computer that you're not okay. So your distress levels are elevated.
So my question is this: when she's talking about this, now I know that there's been limited documentation. Like, all right, with Amanda Rabb, heart arrhythmia, right? If like, I'm confused, and there definitely needs to be a type of an investigation in terms of how this woman, if she passed away in her sleep. Did she have service? Did she do this before she went to sleep? Was she having issues? Were reported issues? Like, and of course, this is all medical stuff that needs to be pulled and looked into, but an investigation does need to occur to understand if there is a relation to that. Let me tell you why. And I just Googled search a couple things here and there, okay? There is an article right here by the National Library of Medicine, Adverse Effects of Virtual and Augmented Reality Interventions in Psychiatry, a systematic review. So I want to know, and this is kind of like my research brain, right? How, if VR has been in practice in mental health, right? And I want to say it's probably been less than 10 years that they've used this technology. When we pulled the APA article, they said that some agencies and services in 2018 were looking into this and were doing that under trained certified professionals, right? So in the last 10 years, this is the question for research. Has there been any deaths or any harm related? There should be some like research out there to determine whether any harm has been related to this type of technology when people are using this, especially with dual diagnosis, right? That's what needs to be looked into. There's a lot of people in my comments on my last videos that said, Rabbit, I'm a mental health professional and we use VR, but it's under trained licensed professionals. Therefore, that is exactly what we need to use this and how it needs to be used. And it's not just willy nilly, somebody that created it who we don't know what her background is. She should be proud of her background if her background is in mental health, right? She should be displaying it with her little portfolio along with this virtual reality stuff. She should be doing that. It's okay to do that. And if there's failures, her research should include those in there while she's doing these pitches to these people. So and so, client A used this machinery, passed away, or this is what we found. However, the success rate on these clients is this. And so, therefore, yeah, it is very experimental. There is no clearinghouse to it quite yet, but we have professionals that are helping us through that. For those that are wondering about this article, and it just came to mind too, I said there's got to be something out there. It is what is it? Through the through the National Library of Medicine, okay? Adverse effects of virtual and augmented reality interventions in psychiatry, a systematic review. All right. And I'm going to link that for those that want to read that article. Feel free to do it. I'll drop it in the chat. Okay. That's what we need to look at. We need to look at that, right? Let me see what you guys are saying. Thank you. And I think BJ's in the chat. Shout out to her. I see her in the chat. I think I saw a comment. Interesting. I had no clue. Nikki says obesity is also a side effect of virtual reality technology. We all seen Wally. You try to joke around, girl. Y'all try to joke around? Yes. Thank you. License. Held to a professional code of ethics that excludes exploitative, harmful, and coercion practices. I can't even read, yo. Sorry. Shout out to you, lady. Thank you for being here. So this was research. You just do a little bit of research. You pull up a little bit, and it helps, right? Like just a little bit. Let me go back a little bit down to the timestamps. I will say that's probably the only thing that I appreciate that No Jumper did is that they actually put timestamps in this. I've watched this interview at least 4 times, and it is a lot of circular logic that I'm hearing when I'm like thinking about how do I debate somebody like this? How do I go about talking about this? Her response to how people are exposing her or how she sees hate, excuse me, is concerning to me as well. There's this inability for her to understand
So crazy
that people are concerned and just try to take it in. I think she makes fun of it. I don't know if she realizes that this is feedback and people are concerned.
So I was like, how do I get people to care about me? How do I get people to care about my mission and what I'm doing? So I reach out to Mark and I tell him what I do.
Mm.
We have lunch in LA. So I flew into LA for something work related. Mark and I connected. We had lunch, and then the next day or during lunch, he was like, "Do you want to do a talk on my channel tomorrow?"
Mm.
And so we decided that it would be cool if I helped somebody um, from his channel. And I actually had a few people that I wanted to help because I had watched a few of his videos. I don't know if you know who Ronnie is. She was
Mm.
like a young girl that her story is just very heartbreaking. But there was a few like men and women that just seemed like they really wanted the help and they just didn't have any like proper guidance in their life. So I made Mark a little list of people, and he said, "Why don't we let the public decide?" So in my first interview, we basically just we told the viewers to vote for who they wanted in the comment section. And overwhelmingly, everybody was like, Amanda, 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 Amanda. So I was like, okay, who's Amanda? So then I look her up, and
How many interviews in was she at this point? Because didn't she do like 8
She
or
had a
something.
lot. She had a lot. There was a lot of material. I didn't even know it was the same woman when I saw.
Yeah, that was a crazy moment for me as well to realize, like, oh, all those thumbnails. That's all.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the same person. And so I actually called Mark, and he's cut this out of our interview before because he wants me to seem like a saint when in actuality I called Mark and I said, "Can we pick someone else, not Amanda?" And I told him I was like, "Amanda's really severe, and I'm doing this for free. Like I'm
Mm.
not charging for my time, and Amanda
Hmm.
doesn't want the help." Um, and
Because she was about as far gone as you could get as an
she was,
addict,
yeah,
basically, right?
yeah. And like I said, I had a list of people that I wanted to help that I really felt emotionally connected to their stories. But number one, like Amanda was very far gone and she didn't want the help, and I knew that to get her to even start step one, I was gonna have to start going to court and getting the courts involved.
Mm.
And
Notice her view. Let's just say that, because I'm thinking like how she views Amanda. Let's just give her the benefit of the doubt that she didn't actually know who Amanda was, right? Like that there's just like I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of doubts to what she's saying. To me, you can only lie so much for me to just be like, I don't believe half of what you're saying anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe nothing. I don't believe half of what's coming out of your mouth at this point, and I have questions, right? Let's just say that, she's like, I'm doing this for free. Even her view of Amanda as a person, the fact that she's just so hard, she's so far gone out, can't help her, right? Even her view of who Amanda, her needs and what she is, and her story is a little like you got some biases of your own, right? So yeah, even this, uh, I'm doing, I'm only doing it for free. Like even that, okay. It's quite a way to view clients, people that need your help, right? Somebody who's in the mental health industry or field or has studied or has taken some type of, this kind of work, that you can't be viewing people like that. And if you are viewing people like that, then you probably need to check yourself because you're probably not in the right field. You're immediately dehumanizing somebody or putting a value of how much time is this person going to require, what is the, because I'm not getting a dollar sign out of it. I'm doing it for free. All right, Mark, I'm doing it for free. You want an easy one, an easy success story, right? Because they don't have it. So they try to paint around as much of a success story as they could. Yeah, no.
Mark told me, he was like, "Well, you said that you could help anybody. And if you help Amanda, then you'll win people over."
Right.
Um, so
Even
I
Mark,
told him, I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll do it." And
if you help Amanda, you'll win people over. So then that meant like I got questions about that relationship. I've supervised people who help people, right? Work with people. And I've never once in my life had sat there and be like, all right, let me pick out a name. All right, SW, you get this client. And if you help this client, you'll win people over. What? Even the thought process behind that just doesn't quite make sense. Not at all.
I started when I connected with Mark about it, like when I originally found out who Amanda was. Amanda was already in jail. She had attacked her father, and Mark instructed him to call the police, but they didn't really know what they were going to do
Uh-huh.
from that point on. And when he told me that she was already in jail, I'm like, okay, I can go to court for her. Um, but that's another thing. A lot of people are saying, uh, when Amanda was not well in those previous interviews, she had made a statement
Right.
that's
About
like,
her dad.
no,
Oh.
well, yes, but like
This
she
is
made a
the messed
statement,
up
and the
part.
statement is, I don't want no girl my age video gaming me.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
that apparently to the internet is evidence that I was following her around on Skid Row with a VR headset, trying to get her to do virtual reality.
So what were you actually doing?
I didn't know her at that
Oh,
time.
you didn't even
Yeah,
know
yeah,
her.
yeah, I didn't even know her at that time. Because when I met her, she was in jail.
Right.
Um, so she was in jail and all of her teeth were missing, and her jaw was dislocated and her face was like a balloon. Like, she was super, super skinny.
Right.
It was really, really sad. Like, I couldn't understand what she was saying when she would talk to me. I thought she had permanent brain damage, and I wasn't sure how far I would get with Amanda. Um,
And this
and
is who you're supposed to help
yes,
rehabilitate.
yeah. And so,
Right.
I, um, the other thing that
I'm muted. Sorry. This is the crazy part. There's a lot of disclosures that she's making here. Of course, Amanda by then had already passed away. But she is making, so to me, it's a little bit, I don't understand what her relationship or what her, um, where she feels like she stood with Amanda. If you're friends with somebody, I could see where people would be like, "What's a little easier for you to disclose information?" Depending on what that friendship looks like. But if it's somebody that is taking a treatment that you created, a program that you created, you should not be viewing them as your friend, right? That's where the boundaries get a little bit skewed. Fonz, thank you for the 4.99. Lies. They had Amanda picked out from the start. Big reason because they had Larry's support, and you need a parent for the conservatorship. I've seen that. I've seen that too. I've seen that around. I've seen that been said as well. She had a list of people already. Mark says to her, you gonna win people over if you help her. And then it makes me wonder, like, then who really had like, everybody had a vested interest in trying to make this case study into a successful case study because it would amplify Mark's platform even more. Amanda came to the platform, right? Various interviews, you see the timeline and progression of what she looked like. Suddenly you have a success story that came out of the white underbelly platform. Interesting. They all had it seems like they all had an interest in this. What did Amanda's dad have to gain from this? I'd like to understand that part. Was he also compensated? Was he paid? Was there any family therapy that happened between dad and Amanda to consolidate that? They're saying that Amanda couldn't wait to go live and wanted to go to clear up the lies. Out of all the videos that they did, what does that mean? So much technology around them. What does that mean? They could have cleared it up right away if that was the case. But they can't even solidify, they can't tell us whether something like this was investigated or not, right? Do we have any court documents that completely clears Mr. Larry Rabb? Any investigation? What if this happened in her childhood? A CPS report? Anything from the DA's office? Anything? Oh, we just, we're going to ignore it because she was delusional, schizo, drug induced, whatever, whatever. That's what it was. And she lied about her dad, but she didn't feel that way about her dad. She saw her dad as her best friend. Okay. That's great. I'm like, okay. Lawless, why would anyone with a legit company geared towards mental health go on a podcast such as No Jumper? This is ridiculous. Why don't mental health professionals interview her? Because she would listen. I would love to interview this girl and just ask her the very basic questions, from one mental health professional to another one that pretends to be, she's pretending to be one, right? Or at least she might be knowledgeable on a couple things by a self-help books that she's been reading. I'm just letting you guys know a little bit of what I've been catching, right? But it's true because it was so distasteful to have Lima in the 13 minutes 7 seconds say that she went to do, her with an investor. He pulled it out. Okay. Doesn't talk about how she addressed this, doesn't talk about what happened, doesn't talk about how maybe she, let police, nothing. No, she contacted him later on so he can continue to, you know, um, promote the project or something, right? Makes me wonder how she sees abuse, how she sees victims. It just makes me wonder her intent overall, right? I feel like I said it before, and I'm going to say it again for the person that because there were several of you, the guys that emailed me that said, Rabbit, look at this side. It might be this way. I said, listen, the way she answered that, the couple of minutes that she said that, I said, no, something's up here. Something's up here. Interesting. Shauna says, Rabbit, nothing was investigated regarding Amanda's accusation of Larry, Dad. They also made sure she recanted her statements on cam later on the soft white underbelly. Interesting. Interesting. Mm-mm-mm. A mental health pro has no business being on No Jumper unless they're looking for big money, sex productions, or vulnerable people. You said it, just me. I'm like, Bonnie says, giving Lima the benefit of the doubt, perhaps Lima had not yet met Amanda when Amanda said the girl my age comment. But I'll bet money that Mark had met Lima by that time and said something to Amanda. Brittany says, wow, Mark is now trying to get Rebecca into 1 year of treatment in Florida. Rebecca will never disclose her true identity, but in recent videos, Mark discussed that he found and contacted her father. So sounds like the soft white underbelly, in my opinion. This is just my opinion, okay? Can't sue me for the opinion that I have, all right? And if you sue me, I ain't got it. Okay? Just like Tasha K said, I ain't got it. Look. Sounds like a little, machine, right? Here's this girl being as resourceful. I know, right? Here, here's this girl being as resourceful, right? Because we played a clip last time about how she talked about her IG was down and she can't connect with people, and people are asking her for resources and advice on conservatorships and yada 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 yada, right? Here's this person that's resourceful, and that's dangerous to have somebody resourceful, right? Advising people how to do it. Clearly, they have each other's numbers. Clearly, I mean, it's like they have all these people on the soft white underbelly. It's like shopping around for a person. Who do you want to help today? It gives a different meaning to the whole, saving somebody situation. It really does. You just pick which one. Do you want the schizophrenic prostitute? Do you want the drug addicted this person? Do you want the person over there? Even I was watching some of the people that had been on No Jumper who went to the white underbelly. There's like and I was like, this is too much. This is like, is this a setup? Is this a connection? And what about the agencies that he's promoting on the credits? Those credits. Who are those people? Who are those agencies? Why are they standing behind somebody that's parading this, somebody's mental health, the most vulnerable population? Why are they okay with that? How do you say you combat human trafficking and you're against that, and then have somebody parade you up there while they're exploiting somebody with clear issues and possible signs of human trafficking exposure as well? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It gives a whole different meaning to exploitation. It really does. This is different. It's just weird. Anyways, guys, let me see. Ooh. You think she's just a businesswoman wanting to get into AI mental health? If that's what they do with addicts, what kind of exposure VR for SA victims? There are red flags everywhere ethically. If I could imagine this, if I knew about this back in 2016 when I was in grad school and whatnot, and I brought this up to a research class to a professor, immediately they would say, what is this? I mean, I would love to write a thesis paper on this, but I mean, I am not in that anymore. Yes, and that's what hold up 1 minute. And why did Mark care so much about Amanda out of all of his 1,000 subjects? That's right. Why Amanda? Why Amanda? It doesn't make sense. All right, guys. We're gonna do more review on this. I know we got into a couple tangents. I just want to read everybody's comments. Listen, I am peeling this onion slowly. All right, and I'm gonna do it with you guys. And it might take me a couple days, hour by hour, just to review it and look into some stuff. And I will plug in as much research into my commentary as possible, because I definitely want you guys to take something from it. If you don't believe anything that I say, that's fine. But I'll just leave you the links in the description box. I'm having to head out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you hit that notification and you subscribe so that you know when we're going live next time. All right, guys. I will see you guys in the next one. Rabbits out.